This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And I know you know this guy's Babe Ruth, and you're thinking, wait a minute, don't you do like alive players who are actively alive? Unfortunately, I couldn't find one active person who was born on February 6th that was a legend like Babe Ruth. I thought Babe Ruth was February the 5th. But nope. He was born February 6, 1895. If he's alive today, he would be 126 years old. Basically, the oldest human being alive. George Herman Ruth was born February 6, 1895, and died August 16, 1948. He was a baseball star for the Red Sox and the Yankees. People forget he was a Red Sox guy. He was the Bambino and the Sultan of SWAT. He was a star pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. People forget about that too. But he became a slugging outfielder for the Yankees, and he did fantastic. He set a lot of records. Career home runs when he retired, RBIs, walks, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. On-base plus slugging, I should say. OPS. Slugging and OPS still is the record as of 2020. Babe Ruth is a cultural icon and was one of the first baseball Hall of Famers, the first 5, with Ty Cobb and 3 others I can't remember. At age 7, Ruth was sent to a reformatory. However, while playing there, he got the attraction of a couple of scouts for the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Baltimore Orioles were a farm club of the Philadelphia Athletics. And so the Philly A's had his rights, but was sold to the Red Sox. Basically, the Philly A's had a habit of buying players cheaply, buying players very heavily, and then basically, once their money troubles happened, they had to sell them off. That's why they had some very terrible seasons. In 1916, he was a good pitcher, but he could hit home runs. Basically, they call baseball from 1901 to 1920 the dead ball era, that basically home runs were not many of that things. More so for inside the park and triples. Basically, parks would be built like 450 feet in center field or something like that. Although Babe Ruth won 23 games in a season twice, which is amazing, and got 3 World Series rings with the Red Sox, he wanted to play every day and decided to convert to being an outfielder. He broke the MLB single season home run record in 1919, which was what, 6? Unfortunately, Harry Fresee sold Ruth to the Yankees amid controversy. Basically, it popularized the curse of the Bambino superstition. And in 15 seasons with the Yankees, Ruth got them to 7 World Series appearances and 4 titles. So he got 7 rings. Not bad. Basically, the live ball era was huge. It was from a low-scoring game strategy to a sports home run was a major factor. If only they knew what the higher-ups wanted to do with like baseballs flying out of the park in the 1990s. Anyway, as part of his Murderers Row in 1927, one of the greatest teams in MLB history, Ruth hit 60 home runs. Ruth retired from the Yankees in 1934. However, the Boston Braves, who were basically diving in the standings, needed somebody, so they decided to give Babe Ruth a chance. And even though he hit some home runs, he was losing it. He led the AL in home runs 12 times, which was good. Unfortunately, off the field, Ruth was not that well liked. There was a lot of intense attention for his baseball exploits in his off-field penchants for drinking womanizer. He wanted to manage a major club, but people didn't give him the opportunity because of his poor behavior. He ended up having nasopharyngeal cancer and died 2 years later. So basically, Babe Ruth had problems. He was a delinquent and all that. So yeah. So Ruth was okay and all that. However, Jack Dunn signed him to a baseball contract out of St. Mary's College and all that. There were a lot of issues about Babe Ruth's time and all that. But Babe Ruth was an icon. He even hit a minor league, his first home run, professional home run in the minor leagues was hit in Toronto, which was amazing. All that. Of course, there were a lot of things. So Ruth arrived in 1914 in Boston and did very well for himself. He started becoming a hitter in 1917. He was 24-13 and 6 shutouts. However, he actually participated in one of the weirdest games of all time. June 23rd, 1917, Ruth was upset that the home plate umpire called a walk and yelled at him. He got ejected from the game and actually was suspended for 10 days after Ruth punched him. Ernie Shore came in to relieve Ruth and actually retired all 27 batters. The guy who walked got caught stealing. For many years, Shore's feat was made as a perfect game, but MLB in 1991 decided to block it. They called it a combined no-hitter, though. At least it's something. So Ed Burrow basically wanted to help Babe Ruth out. He was dissatisfied being a pitcher and wanted to play every day in another position. But basically, Ed Burrow, the new manager of the Red Sox, said, "Let's try it out." It was amazing. So Ruth was fantastic. And when he kept hitting home runs, he was basically given a place in the batting order. Ruth did well. 300 home run, 300 batter with 11 home runs. He was still occasionally used as pitcher and got 13-7, and even got to the World Series. Ruth had a consecutive scoreless inning streak in the World Series of 29 2/3 innings. Whitey Ford wouldn't break that till 1961, which was amazing. And strange as it sounded, Ruth was actually prouder of that record than many of his batting feats. So basically, Ruth got exemption from the war draft by getting a position at a steel mill. In 1919, Ruth was only used as pitcher 17 times and got an 85 mark. But with the Red Sox out of the pennant race, basically they decided to give Ruth the outfield positions. And basically, did all that. He basically hit 29 home runs in his career, which was good. Unfortunately, there was a lot of problems. And the sale to New York was huge. I mean, Babe Ruth kind of had a lot of anger towards Boston, demanding to be paid more and more each season and all that. So basically, with not many teams wanting to trade with the Red Sox found one. Adversity found one, the Yankees, for $125,000. No small feat in today's dollars, even, which was amazingly. So it was amazing. The often told story was that Versi needed money to finance No Nanette, which was a runaway hit. However, the play didn't even open until 1925, and the Red Sox Versi sold the Red Sox at that. So there was a lot of financial pressures and all that because of Babe Ruth's popularity and his always wanting to negotiate his contract, all that. So that was huge. And that led to the curse of the Bambino. Ruth really hit home runs like wildfire. Unfortunately, by 1925, he started to become less of an athlete and become a little bit bloated. He weighed nearly 260 pounds at one time, which was amazing. He had a lot of problems. There were rumors, even after spring training, that he had died, and he kept collapsing. you know, Ruth spent 6 weeks at a hospital. And he had his worst season, but he only played 98 games for the Yankees and got 25 home runs. That's pretty good. And the Yankees were second last in the American League. That's 1925 season. In fact, that was the last time they had a losing record till 1965. Can you believe it? Thankfully, the Roof actually did better. Although that in the 1926 World Series, he had an idea to try to steal second base in the bottom of the ninth and got picked off, which meant the series was over. Well, anyway, it was amazing. But the 1927 squad was murderous row. They had a lot of good teams. 110 wins in 154 games that time. They beat everyone but the AL by 19 games. And then Roof pursued his own single-season home run record. In fact, Lou Gehrig almost took over Babe Ruth's home run record, despite the fact Gehrig wasn't really much of a slugger. He was more of an RBIs guy. However, he did it. September 30th, he got his 60th home run. And it was not broken for 34 years till Roger Maris did it. Although people put an asterisk next to it because Maris did it in 162 games, whereas Ruth did it in 154 games. That asterisk would haunt Maris and his family forever till 1991 when baseball decided to go away with the asterisk. And then Babe Ruth was given the number 3 because the Yankees in 1929 finally got uniform numbers. There weren't too many teams with uniform numbers before 1929, if you must know. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, Ruth was kind of bad and all that. However, 1932, he made a famous World Series moment called The Shot. He called it Shot. The Cubs were heckling him, calling him such weird nicknames. And yes, they even called him a half N-word. I kid you not. It's in papers. But basically, Ruth gestured at the count of 2 balls, 1 strike, possibly to center field, and he pointed to the center field fence, and then he did it. It was Babe Ruth's called shot and all that. So basically, he was being hurled a lot of abuse, and he took it. Good for him. So anyway, years of high living caught up with him in 1934. His condition deteriorated that he couldn't field or run. He accepted a pay cut, but he was still the highest paid player in the major leagues. He could still bat. But then basically Ruth knew he was a player. He wanted to be a manager and all that. He was a contender for the Red Sox position, but he didn't want to leave the field. Anyway, Colonel Rupert, one of the owners of the Yankees, decided to give Ruth the chance to be manager of the New York Bears, their top minor league team. But his business manager and also his wife said no. Ruth wanted to be the Yankees manager. However, Joe McCarthy basically was a good manager. He was manager of the Yankees for another 12 years after that. Ruth wanted to retire unless Rupert named him manager of the Yankees. But you know how that happened. Basically, Ruth decided to circle the world with his wife during the off season. And all that. So anyway, Rupert said that he was hoping that the other clubs would take him as a manager and or a player. The only serious offer came from Connie Mack, who might have stepped down from the Philly A's and all that, but he dropped the idea because he said that Ruth's wife would be running the team in the month if Ruth ever took over. Mack would stay on as manager until 1950. Boston Braves owner Judge Emil Fuchs wanted Ruth as a gate attraction. Basically, they have modest success, but they had troubles. Braves Field was was a massive field, and basically they couldn't afford the rent. They they were trying to hold dog races at that field when the Braves were not at home, but Landis said no way. The Yankees decided to trade Roof to the Boston Braves on February 26, 1935. Roof would become team vice president and would be consulted on club transactions and addition plan. He was made assistant manager to Braves skipper Bill McKechnie. And folks promised Roof a share in the Braves' profits. Maybe he could be co-owner and all that. And Roof might be the manager in 1936. And basically, yeah, he looked pretty good. Unfortunately, when Roof was on the field, even though he had a few good games early in the year, he just couldn't play. His physical deterioration was more pronounced. He was productive at the plate, but he could do little else. He couldn't trot around the bases. He made too many errors, and Braves pitchers wanted to leave the team. So basically, Roof said that Fuchs had deceived him and had no intention of giving him any off-field duties. Basically, it was just public appearances and autographing tickets. And Roof said that basically Fuchs wanted Roof to invest his money into the team to improve the balance sheet. But Jacob Ruppert also knew all along that Roof's non-playing positions were meaningless. So basically, he decided to retire. However, Fuchs, because he needed some financial thing, and basically some National League teams wanted to hold Babe Ruth days before he retires, said you should stay till Memorial Day. He just couldn't do it. However, Babe Ruth made a legendary performance May 25th, 1935, when he went 4 for 4 with 3 home runs, even though they lost to the Braves, to the Pirates 11-7 at Forbes Field. It was amazing. Well, Roof almost ended his career with that game, but he wanted to make appearances in Cincy and Philly for the owner. Basically, he couldn't do it. He retired June 2nd after an argument with Fuchs. He was a 181 batting average and had 6 home runs in that 1935 season. The Braves somehow freefalled after Roof left. They were 10-27 when he left. They ended up only winning 38 of their 153 games, which is at 248, the worst winning percentage in modern NL history, which is shocking because the 1962 Mets were 40 and 120, so they had 250. Folks had to give up the Braves, and the owner actually took over the franchise. So Roof was inducted into the inaugural class of the Baseball Hall of Fame with Ty Cobb, opponents by Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson. Unfortunately, Roof could not get anywhere going. Roof actually spoke on Lou Gehrig Appreciation Day on the 4th of July 1939 when Gehrig hung it up with his number 4 being retired. So yeah. He had a weird personal life and all that. But yeah. He died in 1948 and everyone was amazing to see him. They said that chemotherapy could have helped Babe Ruth out. And they tried to make sure Babe Ruth didn't know he had cancer. But sadly, though, he failed. Ruth lost a lot of weight. He was thin and people didn't realize him. August 16, 1948, he passed away. And it was huge. But he had a massive legacy and impact on everybody around. Numerous movies were made about him, TV stuff about it. He was a great guy. And, he'll be a legend for years to come, even though that we're in the 21st century and people don't really care about the past. He's a legend. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.